What up guys, Phantom here, back with episode 14 of my F1 2019 career mode, as we are going to circuit Spa de Francorchamps for the Belgian Grand Prix for round 12.
Qualifying time at Spa, one of the mightiest tracks on the Formula One calendar. Long straights, up and downhill, Eau Rouge as well. This track isn't for the faint-hearted. Now then, Anthony Davidson, you're not getting any younger, but you have been involved in your fair share of qualifying sessions in an illustrious 30-year career. How do you deal with the pressure when you have that one chance to deliver a perfect lap?
It's not so much about dealing with the pressure, it's more about how you approach the risk and just how much of it are you willing to take. You're constantly balancing the car on the edge of grip from braking, cornering and traction. And over the course of a lap, it's easy to get that balance wrong, and that's why achieving the perfect lap is almost impossible. As you say, I've been doing this 30 years now, and it never gets any easier.
As we start out here in Q1, we're going through Blanchemont, and we will be starting from the back. So with all our engine changes, we changed everything, so we'll have a 60 place grid penalty, which, unless everybody else changes theirs, means we're starting dead last, as qualifying really didn't mean anything, even though we went wide there. As we go up Eau Rouge and down the Kimmel Straight, but around through Blanchemont here, coming to the bus stop chicane, set it up, brake in a straight line at 100 meters, turn in, ride the curb but don't bunny hop over it, DRS, across the line, P2. As our teammate Grosjean is in P7, we are in P15 and barely make it through Q2. As we move on to Q2, as it's starting to get a little bit cloudy, it's forecast to rain in Q3 if we make it there, as we're going through the bus stop chicane. Onto the front stretch, across the line to start our lap. Coming here into turn 1, hit the apex, actually went down the first gear there for a second. As we go through Blanchemont again, through to the bus stop chicane, set ourselves up for the final chicane here. Take it pretty nicely, use the curb on the exit, use DRS, we'll be P3 and end up being P10 and barely squeak through, as rain is forecast for Q3, so we will not be prepared at all for that. As we're in Q3 and the rain has come and we are absolutely not prepared. I've done no wet qualifying or intermediate qualifying or any rain qualifying or anything of the sorts, or race anything, and we are set up for the race, so we are going to be struggling mightily in the rain here, so we'll probably end up in the very mostly either 9th or 10th. We won't be very quick through here as we go through Blanchemont. As we track extend, that should tell you how prepared we are for it, as we actually slide through and then we have a really bad turn in, so we're most likely going to be 10th, which is confirmed with the timing sheet, as Grosjean out-qualifies us in 8th and Butler takes pole position for the Belgian Grand Prix as we head to the race.
In the 48 races held at Spa between 1950 and 2015, the race winner has only started from pole position on 16 occasions. Qualifying yesterday may have set the order for today, but expect the unexpected here at the Belgian Grand Prix. As the saying goes, of course, anything can happen. And you know what? It usually does. Spa-Francorchamps then, a historic 19-corner circuit with a lap distance of 4.35 miles. There's over 100 meters of elevation change here, and with long stretches of the lap spent flat out, a good top speed will be vital for success. Anthony Davidson, a very warm welcome to you as you join me in the commentary box for today's event. Let's discuss Red Bull. They've had just one retirement in the last 5 races. What do you think that says about the reliability of their car?
I think they can be fairly pleased with that record so far. The first thing any good car needs is a solid, reliable base with which to build on, and they seem to have that this season.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Devon Butler put in a fantastic lap yesterday and will start from pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Leclerc, Valtteri Bottas, and Faber, Grosjean, Raikkonen, Hamilton. They've taken a grid penalty. And Antonio Giovinazzi, Norris, Hülkenberg, Daniel Ricciardo, and Perez, Kvyat, Albon, George Russell, and Robert Kubica. Stroll and a Haas rounds off the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
As we sit here on the grid in the back after our opponent our 60th place grid penalty, and we're off as we go to the first corner here, as we're going to look to set up for the inside here, as we're actually we kind of got brake tested by Stroll there, but he managed to come around on the inside as we were too cautious there. So but we should be able to get a massive runoff as they bunch each other up coming up the hill, so we should be able to get a very good run down the Kimmel Straight here, as we're actually a little bit far behind for the slipstream, but Stroll's going to pull out on Russell and he's going to hold them each other up, which will help us get back into view with them. And they'll hold each other up through this section, and which will make them easy for this right-hander, in which we go down that inside of both of them and we make it stick around the corner. As we come to the end of lap 1 here, as we are hunting down Albon here, as we make a last minute move to the inside there, and we're going to try to squeeze him there, as we kind of had to open up the steering wheel a little bit to let him a little bit more space. And if you were paying attention to the beginning of the lap, we were actually scored in 19th out of 20th. The game has glitched and says Kvyat is in last place even though he started ahead of us. As we're going to the replay here, as it's showing wave blue flags for a car that was legitly in front of us, so we will get a free position out of that. Well, really a free car won't be in our way, but as you can see, he's perfectly on the grid there, as we are coming up to Kubica now in the Williams, who should be easy prey for us down the straight here. Actually, he's keeping up pretty well, as we're going to have to go around the outside, but that Williams front wing isn't very good. As we're going up through Eau Rouge and Raidillon on lap 4, as we get a massive run on Perez here, as we actually kind of stall out there, as Perez is attacking Ricciardo and Hülkenberg as we pull to the inside, and we outbrake Ricciardo there, which is pretty ironic because he's known for being very, very late on the brakes. We were able to outbrake him, as we are now on the back of Hülkenberg, his teammate, coming through the Blanchemont and up to the bus stop chicane. We're going to go around the outside, and he's going to squeeze us actually on the curb in the grass, lock up a little bit, go deep, but we're able to keep it and make the pass on him. As we come down now, which he wasn't very far away from us, so he's going to get a very good run down the Kimmel Straight, and he's going to pull down to the inside of us, but we're able to go around the outside and keep the position pretty easily. As at the end of the lap, we came into the pits for to change onto the medium tires, and 6.7 pit stop, which will leave us back in 19th, or really last position, because Kvyat's a lap down. As we move on to the end of the lap, as the rest of the cars, or at least most of the cars, have pitted in front of us here, as Grosjean is right in front of us, as we were slightly ahead of him for a second, but he will easily come out about a second and a half ahead of us, as he's gotten ahead of Giovinazzi here on lap 8, but Giovinazzi's attacking him, and we are quickly gaining on him. We're actually going to pull around the outside, go a little bit deep, try to ride the curb, and we actually wheel bang there. So again, Gene Steiner will not be very happy with us. As we come to the end of the lap, It's Giovinazzi, Raikkonen, Albon, and Norris are all fighting as Albon pulls in the pits as Norris and Raikkonen, and we were able to get the switchback on Giovinazzi, but we are not able to pull ahead of him, so we kind of brake a little bit early and get the switchback again on him as Norris has gotten a little bit farther out, which will make him a sitting duck for me, Raikkonen, and Giovinazzi up the Kimmel Straight here, as Raikkonen's already attacking him even before the DRS zone, as it's going to be kind of like a train here as he's getting picked off, as Grosjean's actually in the train here, as we kind of hit Raikkonen a little bit. We are up in the P9 as we cut to the end of the race. Leclerc has won the race, but we are desperately low on fuel. As you see, we're on low fuel mode here, as Giovinazzi has been able to keep with us as we go a little bit wide, as we've run out of fuel, and we kind of swerve at him, and we have barely kept the position there, as you'll see, barely by what, a front wing there. We've won 9th place by a front wing.
Right, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Here's our winner, pulling their Ferrari into Parc Fermé. What a fantastic race it was. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
Ferrari are at it again, an excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there. And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. Charles Leclerc, currently leading the championship standings, extends his lead even further with this result. Some amazing talent out on the track today, but Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
Today, I think I'll give it to the Haas driver. There was a lot going on all down the field, but they were the only one who I really felt maximised their potential.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Ferrari continue to extend the gap at the top of the table. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.